Can it be that the constant circling of thoughts can be called the wheel of samsara?
Yes, the constant circling of repetitive thoughts, often called rumination or mental loops, can indeed be understood as a manifestation of the wheel of samsara, or more precisely, the bhavicakra, the wheel of life in Tibetan Buddhism. In traditional Buddhist teachings, samsara refers to the endless cycle of birth, death, and rebirth driven by ignorance, craving, and karma. It is depicted as a wheel chakra, held by Yama, the lord of death impermanence, symbolizing how beings are trapped in cyclic existence marked by suffering, dukkha. However, many Buddhist teachers and modern interpretations extend this metaphor to the psychological level. Samsara is not only literal rebirth across lifetimes, but also the repetitive, habitual patterns of the mind in everyday life. As Mingyur Rinpoche describes it, samsara is a habit of running around in circles, chasing after the same experiences again and again, each time expecting a different result, much like a dog chasing its tail. Repetitive thoughts fit this perfectly. They arise from the three poisons at the wheel's center: ignorance, misunderstanding reality, attachment clinging to pleasant thoughts, and aversion pushing away unpleasant ones. These fuel mental formations and craving, leading to endless looping, rumination on worries, regrets, or desires. Contemporary views link this to the brain's default mode network, DMN, which generates self-referential repetitive narratives, reinforcing the illusion of a fixed self trapped in cycles. In essence, while the full wheel of samsara encompasses cosmic rebirths and the six realms, often interpreted as psychological states like anger, greed, or confusion, the core mechanism is the same. Unawareness perpetuates circling. Mindfulness practices act as a wedge to interrupt this cycle, leading toward liberation, nirvana. So yes, your circling thoughts are a microcosm of the wheel of samsara, and recognizing them as such is a step toward breaking free.
So to stop being in this circle, you should make pauses in the constant thinking process.
Yes, exactly. That's one of the most direct and practical ways to interrupt the wheel of samsara at the mental level, introducing deliberate pauses in the constant stream of thinking. The circling thoughts continue because the mind is on autopilot, habitually proliferating one thought after another without awareness. This is fueled by the momentum of ignorance, not seeing thoughts as transient appearances, and craving aversion, getting hooked by their content. When you pause, even for a few seconds, you create a gap in that momentum. In that gap, you disengage from the storyline of the thoughts. You glimpse the open, spacious nature of awareness that is always present behind the thoughts. The automatic identification with thinking, "I am my thoughts," weakens. Buddhist teachers often describe this pause as the key to liberation from samsara. For example, Pema Chodron calls it dropping the storyline or pausing, simply stopping the habitual chain reaction. Mingyur Rinpoche says, resting in the gap between thoughts is like finding the off switch for samsara. In Dzogchen and Mahamudra traditions, this pause is where you directly recognize the nature of mind, empty, luminous, and free. Even in basic mindfulness meditation, vipassana or shamatha, the instruction is, when you notice you're lost in thought, gently pause, feel the breath or body, and let the thought dissolve without feeding it. Practical ways to cultivate these pauses in daily life. Meditation practice, sit for 5-20 minutes daily, focusing on breath or open awareness. Every time thoughts pull you away, gently return. Each return is a pause that weakens the cycle. Mindfulness bells use ordinary events, phone ringing, walking through a door, drinking water as reminders to pause for 3-10 seconds and just feel sensations or breath. Labeling thoughts when rumination starts, silently note thinking and pause. This creates distance. Body awareness, shift attention to physical sensations, feet on ground, hands touching. Thoughts lose fuel when attention moves out of the head. Short stop exercises several times a day. Suddenly stop whatever you're doing and thinking for 10-30 seconds and rest in open awareness. Over time, these pauses become longer and more frequent naturally. The mind's habitual circling slows down, and moments of genuine peace and clarity arise, glimpses of what lies beyond samsara. So yes, pausing the constant thinking process is not just helpful, it is the very method that cuts the root of the wheel. Keep practicing it gently and consistently without forcing or judging. The circle loosens on its own.